Welcome to Ben Snap and Chat, the podcast where we talk about what happens when life doesn't go according to plan.
I'm Cristie.
And I'm Drake.
And around here, we believe that even when life bends us, it doesn't mean we're broken.
Let's get into it.
Hello, hello, hello. Today we're going to be talking about boundaries, something that is pretty difficult. It's actually our 2.0 episode, Drake. Do you want to share with them what happened last episode?
Well, you and I, like responsible adults, decided we would set a boundary, and you helped me do this, and I think it was quite unanimous at the end of. So we've already recorded this episode, folks. Yes. We have one in the vault, and we're trying to figure out what to do with it. Now we have option A and option B, and I would like our friends and all of the people that listen to let us know what we should do with it. It's a real bunch of dirt on our personal life.
We got really vulnerable and shared some pretty deep things
about our families.
Yes,
and the problems that we've had with our families and our families have had with us.
Yeah.
And it was very sober and very honest about a lot of things. But I'll be honest, Cristie, I'm not comfortable sharing it with just the world.
I
agree.
What I mean?
Like with everybody,
it was a deep episode, and I don't think everybody will relate to it because it's really about us with our bodies and our health and not getting the support from loved ones that we would have liked.
Right. And because we thought we meant something to these people.
Exactly.
So anyway, there's a bunch of dirt in this episode. So I'm going to propose one of two things.
Okay.
We send this episode into the stratosphere somewhere, into deletion, into some cloud where I'm sure if there was something happened that the police could dig it up. That's option number one. Option number two is we actually, Cristie and I have had a discussion. So we've spent, I don't know, it's going on over $1,500, $2,000 on this podcast thing.
Yes.
So we've bought, microphones and equipment and all the things we need. And now we're going to video, and we've upgraded to 4K cameras and all these things. So it'd certainly be nice to allow you people who are willing to participate with us into our stratosphere and become a part of our family. Now, when we say that, what I mean is we were thinking Patreon, right, Cristie?
Yeah.
So we would like to give people extra content. And if you're that close to us and you feel like you're that close to us, we kind of feel like your family. So exactly. I'm kind of thinking we could upload something like that there and allow people to hear the episode that we just don't want anyone to hear. If you're supporting us and you're really here for us and you love the podcast and you're putting up $1.50 a month to help us out, then we kind of feel like you're part of it. So we would like you to hear it. And if you guys would think that would be a good idea, along with a couple of other perks, like some pre-episode videos and stuff like that you might see on Patreon for a couple of bucks a month, let us know. If you want to hear it, we might start it. Now, it's not going to happen right away. I have to go for treatment. Cristie is in the middle of a kerfuffle with her blood pressure again.
Oh, my goodness.
And her neck and all of these things. We're both falling apart. So it's going to take a little while, probably till September, before we'll be able to do this with Patreon. We have a lot on our plate as we go to video with this. So what do you think, Cristie?
I mean, I think that is an amazing idea. It would support us and sharing what we've gone through. And I think it's a bit too deep to just share with anyone.
It is.
So I agree with you. And I hope that people will agree with that as well.
So you need to talk to these people, because I'm going to exit just for 2 seconds and I will be back, because I did remember I need to shut the AC off because it is affecting the audio.
Okay. So today we're going to be talking about boundaries. And as Drake just mentioned, we talked about families, and that can be triggering for a lot of people. And one of the things that happened after the episode, and we kind of had a chance to calm down and really go through what had come out in that episode. One of the things that Drake told me was that I can understand why people write things down. Yeah. And I wanted to really share, this is a ritual that I've been doing for many years.
Okay.
And so if you have struggles, and it doesn't have to be health related, but struggles with family relations, with loved ones,
Jobs,
and your jobs,
artistic projects,
oh my goodness, like the list
ex-girlfriends,
literally ex-boyfriends,
monsters in your closet.
exactly. What I found that has really helped me over the years is I write down, you can either write a letter to the person that you're having a conflict with, write a letter expressing everything that you would want to say to that person. And don't worry, you don't have to send it to them. Basically, what I do is you don't even have to write in full paragraphs. You can just write point form things that you want to let go of and release, and things that feel heavy on your chest. I write it down on a piece of paper and then I burn it. And as I burn it, I watch the smoke go up, and I ask my angels and my guides to help me release what is written. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, it sounds like a silly thing,
No.
but it's incredibly powerful. And especially with people like us where we don't really have full control over what happens in our bodies, we have to be very mindful of where we put our attention, where we spend our energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think when it comes to boundaries, people, their first instinct is, oh no, I don't like boundaries. It's a punishment. It's a negative thing. And I really
Well,
want,
yeah, because people, we automatically know sometimes when we set boundaries,
yeah,
if you, most of the people in this world take everything personally.
it's true.
The one thing I've really realized about things, and it's even me, I do it. It must be a human condition thing. We talked
It
about this
definitely
before.
is, for
This
sure.
is what we'd put on the Patreon. We just had this conversation before we started the podcast.
I know.
So this is what we want to put on Patreon is the smut stuff, like the
Yeah.
background. It's kind of like Dragula, when all the
Yes,
drag
I was
queens
just
get
thinking
together
of
and they
that. Oh my
all
goodness.
start to mishmash and be a bunch of bitches. That's kind of like what our little pre things are. I had a
Yes.
meltdown, little screeching session like a child. You could hear all this stuff for like $1.50 a month. I think we need to do the Patreon.
I
But
think
but
so.
most people are like that. They take everything personally. So people
Yeah.
are afraid to set boundaries. I don't think they're so afraid to set boundaries as they are afraid of other people reacting to what they set.
That's true. Definitely true. But what happens to us when we don't set boundaries? Like, what do you feel like when you're overextending yourself? And because I'm a former people pleaser. And so learning to say no,
Yeah.
or I can't, or putting any kind of restriction or boundary around my time and my focus, my energy, was not an easy thing for me to learn. Did you have that issue
Oh,
ever?
always. My whole life.
Yeah, it's a
Like I
hard
said,
thing.
on the other episode that we had our little, gossip session about our
Yeah.
personal lives, which I felt better about, by the way. And yes, you're right about this thing. I feel like, interestingly enough, that thing, that rap session we had, is because we talked about this stuff that was really down and dirty and really bothering
Yeah.
us. It,
Heavy.
you know what? It's like it's trapped in that recording now.
I think so.
It's
But
weird.
it's kind of like the writing it down on the piece of paper. Like
Yeah.
it's
And you're,
the point is to get it off of you.
yeah,
So
I
you don't have
understand
to,
it. Yeah, I
yeah.
had so many therapists tell me this over the years because I've done
Yeah.
lots of therapy because
Yeah.
I'm fucking crazy. But I'm
We all
sorry,
are.
we're fucking crazy. People with EDS, some of us are
Yeah.
fucking crazy. We have really weird autonomic nervous systems that
Yeah.
don't function properly and we go nuts sometimes. This is the worst thing about the whole thing. And then you have to set boundaries about these type of things, even with yourself.
Exactly. Which we'll talk a little bit about later. But so, like, when you're overextending, what does that feel like to you? Like, I know that I've overextend myself when I feel resentment and start feeling like frustration and
Yeah,
like,
that's
why am
interesting.
I doing this?
I
Like,
do this too. And it's, why? I think it's distraction from the resentment.
It's true. Because
Yeah.
honestly, like,
Because if you over accept a whole pile of stuff and do a whole
yes,
pile of things, then you can't settle into dealing with it. And we like to play the avoidance game. I think that's a human thing too.
I think that's why it's so difficult to
God,
actually learn to set boundaries.
it's like Friday night at the bathhouse, girl. We're going deep.
I'm trying not to spike the mic, but it, it
Lube it
really
up.
is.
This is going hot and heavy here. No,
We're
but
doing our
seriously though,
best.
I'm just joking, maybe. But yeah, no, I'm with you. This is why I think we take on all this stuff, especially if we've got. So my thing is, if I've got something bothering me, like you
Yeah.
say, right? If it's something's bugging me or eating at me,
Yep.
I will take on all this stuff and absolutely overload and exhaust myself.
Yep.
And then at the end of it, I'm overloaded, exhausted. I've done all this shit. It's gotten
Yep.
me a little bit further ahead, but I still have the same frustration that I started with.
And when we're living with the types of nervous systems that those of us with EDS tend to have,
Which nobody understands.
which nobody understands,
Unless you have
unfortunately.
it, unless you have
Yeah.
this, because it's kind of like somebody constantly zapping your nervous system
Yes.
with a shock thing. And I don't mean that in a physical sense. I mean that in a metaphysical kind of
Yes.
like neurological sense. Because nothing is quite normal. There's no stabilization of anything. Think about your computer. The best way I can describe this shit, is to take your computer and smash it against the wall a few times
Yes.
and then open it up and try to do some work on it. That's basically what I wake up to every day.
It's like fried. I feel
That's
fried
me
even
too.
before I wake up.
3 years ago, my life fell apart with this.
Yeah.
This caught up to me, and at a point, aging, and I know I said this to you yesterday, wait till you're 56. I mean,
I know.
But it's true.
Yeah.
My father always said, "You wait tomorrow, you're my age."
Wait, you're my age. Yeah.
And he had a point, but I didn't want to wait till I was his age and then have EDS on top of it.
Yeah.
It really does complicate everything. So 3 years ago, my life falls apart because of this shit. And my nervous system goes nuts. And then they put me on a whole pile of medication that made me go nuts and made everything worse. And then there was all these meds we tried and nothing really worked because EDS and meds are sometimes not a good mix because of the connective tissue issues. So, I mean, here we are, fried all the time.
Exhaustion.
And if you don't set these boundaries and if you don't learn to stop and go, I can't do this. And I said this the other day when we had our rap session. That was, our family rap session.
Yeah.
That if you don't learn to do it with yourself first, that's what you can practice on. Because I've had to learn to do it with myself.
Because when we talk about boundaries with ourselves, the things that come to my mind are like, especially with our bodies, like I'll say today, I would say I had like probably like 4 to 6 usable hours where like I'm feeling good today. My brain is working. Physically, I was able to go out and do stuff. But then there's days where I have like 2 to 3 hours of usable hours.
Yeah, and the brain is on Uranus. Yeah.
Literally. And it so learning to like pace myself was really hard for me because I grew up, and we're going to talk about belief systems next time, but I grew up in this belief that the harder you work, the more successful you're going to be. And so like I literally worked myself into burnout with my business. And that was before any of the health stuff. I mean, I had it my entire life, but I still was able to live a relatively normal life.
Well, this is what I call the fibromyalgia honeymoon times.
Yeah.
Because this is when they told us we had fibromyalgia and it was chronic fatigue and all this stuff. And you were thinking, oh, I can live with this until you get older.
Yeah.
And then the fucking thing decides to like take a rusty nail and stick it somewhere where the sun doesn't shine. Because that's what it felt like to me. It was just it's a great visual. I know.
You're right.
Yeah. But that's basically what's happened though. And then it makes everything so much more difficult
More
to deal with.
difficult,
So,
challenging.
so learning how to step back and go, okay, this person, let's talk about other people. So we've talked
Yeah.
about, the boundaries with yourself and things like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, this person, takes this much of my energy every time I have an engagement with them. And that's,
Yes.
so what I do, I'll just tell you my personal experience with this. So when
Yeah.
I encounter people now, if they're
What do you
taking
do?
my energy and we're exchanging energy, where there's
Yeah.
energy being transferred back and forth and it's
Yes.
beneficial to both people,
Reciprocal.
that's different. You can
Yes.
easily analyze that and say, you know what, this is beneficial.
Yes.
But there are other people in your life, my life, I don't know about you,
I
that
think most
become,
people's, but
they
definitely
they're
mine too.
they're about consumption, and every
Yes.
time you're around them, they constantly consume. They talk about themselves, they talk about their situations, they only talk about themselves, and some people even forget to ask you how the fuck you are. So my thing,
It's true. It's true.
it's
Sadly.
so easy to go back to the family subject right now, and
I know.
I'm gonna refrain, okay, to stay on track.
To stay
So
on
some
track.
people are even refuse like to ask you how you are, and these
Yeah.
people suck. They soul suck. They
Yeah.
suck,
It's
and not in
energy
the
vampires.
sucking in the wrong way.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're not beneficial to me. So now
No.
what I've done, I actually did this, by the way.
Okay.
There was people in my life for years that I had no boundaries with, that texted me whenever they wanted at any time of the day or night, and blah blah, and
Yes.
needed me when they needed me, I was there. And
Yep.
there was a few people in my life that maybe listen to the podcast. I don't know. If you're listening to
We'll
the
see.
podcast and you're one of those people that I gave the boot to and you're wondering what the fuck it was because it was all about you.
Yeah.
So I've taken all of these people that was all about them, and that the only time that they decided to text me is when they had good
When
news
they
about
needed
their life.
something.
They had good
Or
news
when they
about their
need,
life.
yeah.
They wanted to brag,
Yeah.
or they
Or
wanted to tell
needed
me
something.
something about them, or they
Yeah.
needed some type of opinion or some
Yeah.
daddy advice or something like
Yeah.
that. I've
Yeah.
booted all these people out of my life. I sent them
Yeah.
messages and said, this relationship is only beneficial to you, and I'm really sorry I can't participate in it anymore, because I have limited energy as of being
Yeah.
ill, and I feel like it's not beneficial to me at all. Have a
It's
really nice life. And I blocked these people. I didn't even give them a chance to fucking respond. No, I didn't. I didn't give them a chance to respond because it was all about them.
And
All
it will always be about them.
right, exactly. And it was all about them. It's always going to be about them. They're not going to
Yeah.
get it. And
Yeah.
maybe me doing that is part of their learning curve.
I mean, I hope that they learn something from that to like
I'm not
show
saying
up
that.
in their relationships in different ways, in a more
Well,
reciprocal way.
some of them don't have relationships. They were single people,
And
right?
there's a reason, but not just like as a partner, but like with family, with
Yeah,
people at
exactly.
work, people that they come into contact with in everyday life.
Make an effort, people. If you've got
It
friends out
would,
there, like my
yeah,
father told me, you're lucky if you got 5 really good friends that are like, really, if you can count them on your right hand. And he was right about this.
it's true.
I don't consider very many people really, really close to me.
No,
At
like
this
when I
point in my
think
life,
now,
yeah,
no,
no, I
yeah.
don't. There's people because I have good friends of mine that haven't even listened to my podcast. Never even
Yeah.
congratulated me when it was
Yeah, me
released.
too, which is it's hard. It's a hard thing because you think that the people that you pour into are going to be excited and pour back into you.
So in turn, with these people, when they need you and stuff like that, you have to
Yeah.
create the same boundaries they have with you.
It's true because otherwise you start to lose yourself.
Right.
It
So that's
becomes a matter of self-respect at
that's
the
my
end of the day.
that's my observation about this.
Yeah.
So, that's how I see it, and that's what I've done personally. I really did. I did this, and I've done it to multiple people. Because so here's the other thing that's painful to talk about.
Yeah.
When I was popular, when the music was popular and I was being featured in the Advocate
Yeah.
magazine, and I was in Bear World magazine, and I was in the Spanish version, or the Spanish version of Bear magazine out in Europe, and I was on Out TV, and I was on all these things were featuring me. Everybody wants to be your friend,
Yeah. Yeah.
but then you
When they
kind of,
think that they can get something from you.
yeah, I heard from a lot more people back then,
Yeah.
and it just really showed me how opportunistic some people can be.
Yeah.
And ever since I've been away from like the spotlight and not in the magazines anymore, because I got sick. life happens,
Yeah,
and then
life
I
happens.
slowed down a bit and then got sick, and then the pandemic happened.
Oh my goodness.
And between all of those things, it's been really, really, really difficult, but it's really telling. So now I have to, so the other boundary I created with myself, and then I'm going to shut up and you can talk. The other boundary that I created with myself is be careful who you're letting into your space, because what's in it for you? Are they going to give back,
Yeah.
or are they just here to say they're friends with Drake Jensen?
Yeah.
That happened a lot,
And that's sad because I know how you are with people, and like you're incredibly giving of yourself, your time, your
all my life.
attention.
I've always been that way all my
Yeah.
life,
I think the both of us are givers. Like there's
Yes.
this world, we have
So
givers
givers
and we have
need
takers.
boundaries.
Yes.
Givers need these boundaries. I think there's going to be people out there going, "Oh God, I'm a giver. I need boundaries." So, so the giver. So it's the giver setting boundaries is a whole other issue, because then you feel
Yes.
bad, because most
I
times the
felt so
giver.
guilty.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's talk about
The
that.
guilt and the shame of like, so at one point, I used to have my phone turned on. Like, if anyone needed me, I was kind of like the one that people came to when they had challenges, difficult things going on in their life. I I've been there for a lot of people that now when I've been sick, I realize like I overextended myself in many ways, whether it was because I felt like them like being needed
Yep.
was like an important like part of my purpose per se.
Well, because
And
of your matriarchal
yeah,
ideology, it's a big part of,
it
but I
is.
think you're already embracing this new matriarchal
Oh,
person. So,
which
right?
has
And
boundaries.
it has boundaries, but then
Yes,
it's you allowing yourself to be that way and
exactly.
still being able to maintain boundaries. I think that's
Exactly.
really
That's the
important.
next step for
Right.
sure.
But then there's the Cristie that used to do for all these
Oh,
people, and then expect those
everyone.
people to do the same thing back. And we had this
Yes.
conversation before we
I
started
know
the
we
podcast
did.
that said,
We did.
we expect things from people because of the people we are. We
We
expect
are.
other people are going to be the same way. And that's
Yeah.
an unrealistic expectation on our part.
And it's been a hard lesson to
It
learn
is.
to be like, you know, the number of times like I had this one friend who I was really close with.
Yeah.
I took care of her kids. I when she was like going through a separation, I was like the shoulder to lean on. And then when I got sick, I was kind of, expecting the same support that I gave her when she was going through all her challenges. And what I got from her, like I haven't blocked her, but I've definitely placed her in a different position in my life because when I got sick, the question that she would ask me every time we would talk is, "Are you feeling better?" Or, "Oh, you're still sick," which completely made me feel
Like you were a
it's all
liability.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that
You were
I wasn't doing enough to,
right to
get better.
for the friendship and everything. Yeah. No, I know, I understand. And then there
It's
are
hard.
some people who have never been sick before.
Yeah.
Um I was one of those people. So I bragged a lot. Oh, I don't got to go to
Yeah.
the doctor. I've never been to the
I'm
doctor. And
good.
then when shit went down.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about this. They talk about karma, and I don't like to talk about karma like it's a punishment.
No.
I like to talk about karma like it's a universal playing level. It's the universe's way of leveling the playing field.
Yeah.
And I think that certain people like that end up getting sick
And then
or have
yeah.
tragic, things happen in their life that hopefully change that. Because that's
So
what
that they
happened.
can see things in a different
Oh,
perspective.
me, I totally see things different in a different perspective from the person who never went to the doctor. I hadn't seen a doctor. I hadn't had a family doctor since the last time I had a family doctor. I was 24 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So
you know
I
how much I,
understand why you were like bragging about that.
right? And I didn't
Yeah.
take any, I still don't take much medication because I don't
No.
believe, sorry, I'm going to be really controversial here. There's certain meds that help my EDS that I absolutely need. And
Yeah.
then there's a lot of people overindulging in the pill bottle to try to find answers
It's
to the,
hard.
and
It's a hard balance.
it's not the solution. Medication is only part of the solution.
It's part of it,
Yeah.
but we definitely like I've learned through this process that it really needs a holistic approach. It's
Right.
about mindset and how you talk to yourself. Like
It's
that's a
about creating,
big
it's about
yes,
creating boundaries with yourself
exactly, and how you talk to
and
yourself,
discipline.
which is a big one.
Hmm.
Because
I,
if you talk to yourself as like s- the advice that you would give to like your loved one, if you started talking to yourself like that, I think we touched on that probably in our self love episode, but it's massive. How you talk to yourself has a profound impact on your mental state, on your physical state.
yeah.
It's huge, and so I mean, unfortunately, unfortunately, or whatever, I take meds. That's part of it. There's things that, like I was worse off without the meds, but
Oh, me
I
too.
also do a lot of other things to try to help.
Right. So, what my point about medication is that some people rely on medication and trying medication and new medication constantly to the point now
Yeah.
where they're saying, "Oh, Ozempic's going to help EDS." You know, this
Are you
Ozempic thing.
serious?
Oh my God! Like I have boundaries with myself, and yes, I'd love to shoot up Ozempic and lose that last 10 pounds that I want to get that fat off my gut. I would love that, but you know what? It eats your face. So I have boundaries. I've set a boundary with
Yeah.
myself. Like none of this stuff that's cosmetic at all. Like
Yeah.
none. I'm not doing it. And I'm 56 now. I've been pretty vigilant with myself about taking care of myself. And
Yeah.
so my boundary with myself is no cosmetic procedures.
I'm with you on that one.
Because
And that's a hard thing for a woman aging, because there's so much pressure on women to
oh yeah.
not get
Well, gay
old.
men too.
Yeah,
Try the
yeah,
music industry.
yeah.
It's
I know that you get it. But
like, oh
it's not an easy thing to kind of navigate.
no,
But
but
like
you have to create that boundary and you have to say, you know what? I'm not going to do this. Everything's already complicated enough.
it is. It
So there's
really
a
is.
boundary. Do you like that boundary that I'm not going to Botox myself?
I think that that's a great boundary for both of us to have, I think. Like eh,
I mean, unless
the
my face falls down somewhere around my larynx. I mean, if that happens, then we're going to do some intervention. I'm going to go get the tox, if you know what I mean.
well, hopefully with the EDS, like the one benefit that I say like
Oh, you look
I will take
great.
it. Yeah, we look younger than we actually are. Like we
Yeah.
have pretty nice skin.
Well,
So
that's the
you
thing.
know what? Uh,
If I
but
was to
there are
shave,
types of EDS that do get like very loose
yes,
skin,
yes.
though.
I think the
I can't remember the type, the
classical, I
subtype.
think it's classical.
Classical. Okay.
CEDS, I think, is one of them. Because I've been so like hyper focused on the H word, hypermobile EDS, because I've had
Yes.
this
Yeah.
shit all my life.
Yeah.
I had to learn a lot, so that was another thing, right? The other boundary that I have with myself, here's another boundary. I want to talk about like
Yeah. Let's
individual
talk.
boundaries for a sec.
Yeah.
Um, I I don't allow too much Googling of Dr. Googling.
That's a good one
Hmm.
because you go down these rabbit holes.
Oh,
So, with my best friend, because my godson Nicholas, when he was born, or he's severely disabled and he's gone through a lot. And so we kind of started, if there was something going on with Nicholas, I would do the Googling. And if there was something wrong with me, she would do the Googling for me. And we would kind of like be that filter
yeah.
so that, because otherwise,
Uh,
I know all of us have experience like with medical issues going down that rabbit hole.
yep.
And the anxiety and the overwhelm and the just like it's too much. It's too much.
Yep. No, no, I know. And um I think that all of these boundaries, whether you're having them personally with yourself
Yes.
or expressing them with other people, they do lead to, and once you get past the fury of feeling like, oh my God, everybody's going to hate me and this person's going to judge me because if I don't do this, or if I don't go out, or if I don't,
Yeah.
and whether you have EDS or you have anxiety, or you might be having a mental issue right now, or you might be
Yeah.
having a job problem right now, and you just want to fucking stay home and you say no to somebody, even beyond all this stuff, the panic
Yeah.
of like wondering if you're going to be in judge or if you're not going to be there, what's going to
Yeah.
happen, and all this stuff, there is a point where you come to, if you do this enough, that there is a conservation of energy.
There is. Like so for me, when I know that I'm going to have, like, whether it's a social interaction or a medical appointment or whatever it is, like, I have to give myself space and time to, like, prepare for those interactions and then also to recover from them. And that has been something that I've implemented, and it's made a huge difference when it comes to that just overall exhaustion of living in the bodies that we live in. It's it's not easy.
Right. So like that's like today for me. So tomorrow I'm going for this big procedure,
Yes.
and it's been, I
You've been having feelings.
oh, and I've had to put up these boundaries with myself of
Yeah.
only going down. So here's the thing about anxiety.
Yeah.
We have a choice about this stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
So it
It goes
starts
back to the
slow.
mental.
It starts slow, right? We know
Yeah.
this stuff. So how I kind of curb myself, it's kind of like choosing what neighborhood to go for your walk in.
Yeah.
You can go to the pleasant neighborhood, or you can go to like the drug induced, crack
Yeah.
filled,
Yeah.
crazy neighborhood and
Yeah.
walk around there instead.
Yep.
So I look at that one like anxiety, and I look at
Yeah.
the other one like choosing the right road. So if I
Yeah.
start to have anxiety about something, like I'm having bad anxiety about the treatment tomorrow.
Of course.
So, but I also need to look at the fact that, okay, if I go down that road too far, then this is going to lead to all of these problems, which is going to get worse.
Yeah.
And then I talk to myself a little bit and go, and then I did something. I went to the doctor's website, the doctor that's doing this procedure,
Yeah.
and I read all of his reviews, and I did
Yeah.
something constructive instead,
You
So
took your power back.
yeah, kind of. And I guess you kind of knew when I panic texted you and said, oh, I
Yes.
don't think I want to do this, and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, because I did that, by the way, everybody. I was going to
That's what
taco.
reciprocal friendships look like.
Right. And
We're there for each
you just
other.
kind of let me stew, right? It's like
Yeah.
the right answer came. It was like, oh, well, you need to think about this and process this, and then
Yeah.
whatever your decision you make is good. I'm like, okay. So, which sometimes not the answer I want. Sometimes I want you to convince me,
I know.
but that's not the right
But
thing. That's not your job.
no.
No. So, and you have to have boundaries about that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, because if you don't, then I'm just going to keep displaying the same behavior. I'm like that with
Yeah.
Michael. So
Yeah.
I have to like be a big boy and do my own
Yep.
thing, right? And make
Yeah.
sure that when this decision is made, I'm the one who made it. So,
Exactly.
right. And I need to be able to think positively, not go into the crack neighborhood for my
Yeah.
leisurely walk, and know that if I do, I'm going to be in trouble and I'm going to have problems and I'm going to be stressed out while I'm walking. So I don't go down that road. I do something different. So that's me having these really, and I have to have stricter boundaries with myself than I do with other people, to be honest.
I agree, because especially as givers, it's so easy for us to burn ourselves out just like being there. And so even you just realizing like that boundary for me, because I used to take on, as an empath, I used to take on everybody's
Shit.
shit,
Yeah.
and it's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've had to learn, which again is not easy, but I've had to learn to set those boundaries around, like, I knew that you wanted me to tell you what to do
I
and say,
did.
like, I know you did, but it, I also understand the complexity of being in a situation like that. Like, I'm not the one that's going to have to endure the needles put into my back, right?
Yeah. It's,
And
oh, I watched it. See, what happened
I
was
know you sent
I
me the
did.
thing, and
So
I was
I broke,
queasy
when I talk
watching
about
that.
it, I broke one of my boundaries.
Yeah.
You know what I said to myself? As soon as I
What?
left the office and I had a great consultation, because
You did.
there's only a couple of doctors in North America that do this. He's
Yeah.
one of them, and he's in Orleans, Ontario. That's Dr. Eric Ouellette. And the other
Yeah.
one um, is Dr. Hauser is his name.
And
He's
where's he
in,
located?
uh, what's Caring Medical in Florida.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
there's not many.
no, there's
When you
only
told
that.
me, like, he's the top in North
Right.
America.
There's lots of like prolotherapy doctors,
Yeah.
but they don't do cervical spine intervention.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
difference. So there's lots that do prolotherapy, like for like
Okay.
elbows and knees and like other joints, but they
Interesting.
don't do it in the
Okay.
C spine because. So
It's
here's
dangerous.
so here's the yeah. So that's the trick about the whole thing. And what I ended up, finally resolving this is the fact that uh, this is a 5-star doctor. Okay, so he's like got five
Yeah.
stars everywhere you go, and everybody that I've heard from say he's great. Says he's great, and they say that it's not the needle, it's the person that's doing it
Yeah.
that's going to make the difference. So I set the boundary with myself. No more videos, no more.
Yeah.
Don't watch the procedure. You're going to be
Yeah.
on your face anyway. You're going to be ass up.
Exactly. Yep.
Strange position for me, but I'm going to be there on the table, vulnerable, ass up,
Yeah.
ready to take it, if you know what I mean. So I'm sorry, I have to joke for a while
I'm
because I'm
sorry.
freaking out.
Well,
But
that's how we manage sometimes. Like, we
so,
definitely develop some dark humor, and
right. So aren't you proud of me? I set
I'm
boundaries.
very
Not
proud of
watching no
you.
more videos. I did the positive stuff. I did the research and I did the thing and I set the boundary with myself. So there you go. Ha. Perfect in time for the episode.
Well, this is exactly like honestly, I never think that anything is a coincidence. I've seen too many things.
Yeah.
But I knew that it had to come from you, like that decision, because you're the one going through it.
Yeah.
It can't be me telling you. I can remind you and be like, it could be difficult to go through this process, but imagine how it can help you.
We're going to video it.
So, oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
because even watching that video, even I was a little bit squeamish.
so all the guys and some of the women on the men's EDS page,
Yeah.
they're really interested. So I'm
Well,
more than willing to like expose myself.
and I think that's amazing. And I think when I go see Dr. Isabel, I'm probably gonna try to videotape that if she'll allow me. I don't know
I'd be
what.
interested to see if she'll allow that.
That's the thing. I can consent to it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the
Yeah,
doctor will
she
consent
might
to
not
it.
want to be in the
Yeah,
video. I don't know what she's like that way. She's she can be. I think she's a very
she's amazing, but she's very
private.
you, yeah,
Yeah,
and like by the book. Like
right.
she was very thorough,
She didn't
and
want me in there with you.
no, she didn't.
Too distracting.
Maybe she was afraid that we were going to talk too much.
Too much and then she wouldn't be able to concentrate. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
exactly probably what would have happened too.
Probably. She's
She
like,
knew.
oh,
Yep.
she knew.
Keep the children apart.
Exactly.
Again, she was expressing her boundary.
Which is amazing.
I think
Like,
it's fine. My old me might be offended, but the new me that has a bunch of boundaries myself is not so
yeah,
offended.
because you understand it.
I do now.
Yeah.
Ta-da! It
Ta-da!
just took being
You
struck
did
with like
amazing.
a horrific illness and being like taken advantage of by some people, and
Yeah.
I just can't anymore. I know like when you say how do I feel? Well, I know
Yeah.
how I felt before it. I can't imagine like not setting boundaries now with what I have going on,
Yes.
because like it doesn't take long for the exhaustion to hit anymore.
It really does. Like,
Mm.
even since like our trip when we went to Prevo, and like I've been dealing with all this stuff with my health, and it's been really exhausting. And you've actually been one of the people in my life that has actually supported my boundaries. Like, I remember one night I was exhausted, and I think we were gonna tape the original boundaries one that day. And you're like, no, how about
Oh
we do
no.
it like 2 days, like in a few days when you've had
Yeah.
a chance to rest and you're not totally fried. And I appreciated that so much because there's not many people out there that don't take offense.
No, I
You know,
don't.
like,
And that's why, like, I think how we do the podcast is like, right now we need to be ahead of you. So I think we're ahead. How many are we ahead now? 3 or 4?
uh, we have probably like maybe 2 or 3, I think,
Yeah.
because we had
So
one that came out today, and
today, and then
then
we've got
next week.
one, be 2. We're
Yeah,
ahead now with this one.
yeah,
But the thing is that we have to do these when we feel good. And then we
exactly.
don't always feel good at the same time. So
Which is hard.
unless Christy's having her period, and then I get cramps, because so there's a
The
couple
sympathy cramps.
of problems with our friendship.
Yeah.
One of them is Christy goes on her period and I seemingly get cramps. And then the other night, Christy wasn't feeling well. And it was
No.
around 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
12 or 1, I can't remember. So I'm sitting up here in the loft and I'm watching TV and I get really nauseated.
Yes.
Like,
And I
I'm
was
getting
vomiting.
nausea. And I'm like,
And it
why
was
am
around the exact same
I
time.
know. And when you told me you were sick and I was getting sick
Yes.
too, I'm like, oh, Christ, we're doing a podcast together and now we're sharing everything, even your
Right?
room. I mean,
But I kind of love it though.
it's so funny that we're connected that way.
Yeah.
But so we have to have the boundary of saying, okay, we're not going to set like a certain time to record these, because we've been
We
very
don't
lucky.
know.
We've been very
Yeah.
lucky so far.
We have.
So
Knock on wood. I'm
we're
knocking.
being really super responsible. We have
Yeah.
boundaries with ourselves when we're exhausted. Sometimes
Yeah.
we might push ourselves a little bit. Sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
But, because we always want to have one out every week until we get to the point where we actually know what we're doing.
Exactly.
So
we're still learning here, guys.
Oh my God. And so many technical issues along the way, and
I
so
wasn't
many
sure you're
learning
gonna
curves
bring
we're
that
doing.
up.
But so speaking of like boundaries, I mean, we have to stop every once in a while.
Yeah.
And go, well, we're doing pretty good here. We've been doing this for 8 or 9 episodes now. We
Yeah.
learned all of this technology ourselves.
Yes.
You got to remember, there's a place that just opened in Ottawa for people to be able to walk in and record their podcast, and they do all of this stuff that we've learned how to do. And you have to pay for it. I think it's probably 50 or $100 an episode. It's got to be
at least,
or more.
Yeah,
so we don't have to do, because we've learned and we've bought the equipment and we learned how to do it. So good for us.
I'm honestly like, yay us. I'm really proud of us, and I'm in some ways kind of shocked that we're already at the point where we're starting to like get ready to incorporate video. Like,
me too.
I didn't envision that this quickly.
Like, and the thing is that yes, there's been days where we should have done stuff and we didn't, but we took that. That was us expressing our boundaries with ourselves.
Our boundaries.
And we're tired. We can't do this and blah, 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 blah. But, the one thing I kind of want to I can't believe we're 43 minutes, almost 43 minutes into this.
I know we already have.
So the one thing I kind of want to really touch on is, because I think this is where people have a really hard time, like, putting boundaries into their lives and implementing them, is because of how other people react to them.
Yeah.
Because again, we've already touched on the fact that if you're not going through it, then you're not, though, in the world today of immediacy where everybody's just reacting all the time.
Yes.
A lot of people aren't going, well, they're not considering you. So they take offense and things like that. And then that leaves you with more shit to have to worry about. So what is it? What do we do? So how do we approach this? The one thing I want to kind of recommend is a book called The 4 Agreements.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, because I think the number one agreement in the book, so the 4 agreements are super simple and are the most difficult things you'll ever implement in your life.
Yeah.
So I think one of them, and I think it being the first one, is take nothing personally.
Yes, that's huge. It's not.
Who the fuck wants to do that?
Yeah, I know.
Then you can't talk about people.
Then we can't have our
bitches.
Girls chats,
you need to leave bitches alone then, because they got their own shit, and then you're kind of being really spiritually evolved, and you're going, you know what? Yeah, I'm not going to take that personally. And then the second is like, fuck you, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's me. That's
But
me.
the other thing is, like, once you realize that most people project onto other people, you start taking things less personally. For me anyways, that was a big switch when I'm like,
Okay, explain
"Oh,
this.
you're dealing with your own shit." Whatever it is, like maybe that person, I don't know, was up all night with their baby. Maybe they had a fight with their significant other and they're in a shitty mood and they take it out on you. It's not about
You.
you. It's about them
Yeah.
projecting.
Yeah. And do you
That
think that
shift.
do you think, let's take just a second here to take a little
Yeah.
detour. Do you think that we've become a society so obsessed with ourselves that we refuse to see other people's point of view?
Yeah, people just want like just look at social media. It's all about like this perception of who they think they should be showing up with as online. Like I I'm too old, first of all, and I'm too exhausted to try to pretend to be something that I'm not.
Yeah.
But it took a long time to get to that place to be like, I'm gonna post a picture without makeup. I don't care. Like I
A
accept
lot of women
myself
are.
for
I
who.
still, who was doing that? Um, Somebody posted a pic without makeup the other day. I was shocked. I know Pamela Anderson's
Pam
been doing it.
Anderson
No,
has
no, there's
definitely
somebody else.
been,
There's somebody else. Who was it?
and she looks stunning.
I think she looks great. She looks like my cousin
Yeah,
Paul. She looks like my cousin Pauline.
she's beautiful.
Yeah, my cousin
But
Pauline
it's
is like
like, yeah, like
70. I
this
think she's
redefining what beauty for a woman,
yeah.
especially an aging woman.
Yeah, my cousin's like 70. I think she's 71 or 72 this year, and she looks
Yeah,
great too, and she doesn't wear a lot of makeup. She kind of reminds me of they kind of look the same a little bit. Yeah, but I don't wear makeup every day.
yeah. Like I'm looking forward to wearing makeup and
Me
getting dolled
too.
up for our videos and stuff.
Yeah, me too.
But also, like, I'm medically complex. Like, I spend a lot of time in doctor's offices.
I'm
I,
having
I'm
speaking of, I'm having
yes.
reaction. I need help. So I need
Okay.
girlfriend help. I need
Okay.
like
I'm here.
remind me of this tomorrow
Okay.
when we're together.
Yep.
We're having a sleepover tomorrow because
Oh,
Christy lives next
girl
door to the
time.
doctor. So I'm
Yes,
going
I
to go
live
to
super
Christy's house
close.
and Michael and I are going to sleep there so I don't have to drive all the way back home after I'm
Yes.
done.
Because we
But
don't know how you're going to feel
no,
tomorrow. Yeah.
I might feel great or I might feel like shit. We don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm having reactions to everything I'm wearing. So my eyeliner that I
Oh,
usually wear,
yeah.
um, I can't wear it for any longer than an hour. I'm like literally gnawing at my eyes with my fingernails. It's like so burns and itches. So we'll have to go like girl shopping for like hypoallergenic shit. Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway,
There's a Sephora down the road from here. I don't know if we
okay.
want
Well,
to
we need to do
support
that.
big.
We should do this sometime.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, that's a
definitely.
whole other
Because,
subject. We should do a thing on
yes,
cosmetics. We should do a show on
we really
cosmetics
should.
sometime. Like our
Because I
favorite.
get sensitivity too.
Yeah, and we'll have
I think a
video.
lot of us
We
do.
can show people shit we use.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love that.
Okay, let's do that. But anyway, we're off track. So
Yes.
boundaries and back to people taking offense. So um I think that's why people don't implement them. Now, do you think when you instill a boundary in a relationship, whether it be with your parents or your sister or your brother or whatever, should you sit down and have an intelligible conversation as to why you're doing it?
Personally, I have.
Does it
Um,
work?
it depends on the person.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's the thing.
The
But
predictability is like, so is it 50-50? Yeah, maybe.
well, because I think we were taught, like growing up, to be nice and to be helpful and to be pleasant and not difficult. And boundaries seem to be seen as like being difficult, when really it's about self-respect and being able to communicate your
Preservation
limits.
and preservation
Yes.
of whatever
Yes.
you have left, right? You know, like you say, I'm the same way. Like I have to have like it takes me like, oh God, roughly 2 to 3 hours to be able to do anything physical.
Yeah.
Hate admitting this stuff.
Well, I think a lot of people that have EDS especially and deal with chronic illness can relate.
Yeah. So
Like, my body needs to, like, click back into place before I can get
oh,
out of bed.
so I have to be careful. So it's so bad for me right now that when I get up out of bed, how some people will sit on the edge of the bed and just get their
Yeah.
bearings, and then I can't do that
No, I can't
because
either.
my hip has moved during the nighttime. And if I put
Yeah.
pressure on it when it's not in the right place, it will subluxate, and my
Yeah.
SI joint will just go. It's the most painful thing I've ever felt. It's put me in the hospital. It put me in the hospital one day. And so I have to literally get right, like bounce out of bed, like get up out of bed, make sure that I'm supporting my core, get out
Yeah.
of bed and
Yeah.
stand up properly with right posture and make sure that my feet are not flat on the floor, make sure I'm arching my feet and getting back into that position where my muscles activate.
And you've been doing a lot of activation recently. Like,
Well, and I've
has
had
that
to
always been like what you've had to do to get out of bed, or just in the last couple of
just in
years?
the last few years. Yeah. So it's just
Yeah.
when the labral tears started to show up in the
Yes.
pelvis and the SI joint got bad and the lower spine started to degenerate,
Yeah.
that's when there was started. See, the doctor explained this to me. The specialist, he said,
Yeah.
your level of what you have going on, he said, is moderate. He said, but it's
Okay.
not moderate to a person that has EDS. He
That's the
said, when you
key.
combine the moderate, he said, with joint
Yeah.
laxicity,
Instability.
instability, where everything's
Yeah.
moving around on top of all of this stuff starting to develop,
Yeah.
it's the perfect storm for like getting worse really, really quick. So the thing is we got to slow it down. So that's what we're hoping is going to happen tomorrow. We slow it
I mean,
down.
fingers crossed. We're definitely hoping. See, for me, in the mornings, I have to lay down. Like, I can't, I take my meds. I have to kind of wait for them to kick in. And like, I try my best to not book anything too early because
No,
I know,
I tell people now. So I have this now.
yeah,
Here we are with boundaries. This is boundary number one.
exactly.
This is our
Yep.
boundary. We
Yep.
we can't function in the morning.
No,
So we have to have all of our appointments. Like tomorrow, I got to get up. I got to be up. I got to be out
I
of the
know.
house by
Tomorrow's
nine,
early for you.
by 9 in the morning, and then I got to drive
Yeah.
2 hours to get there.
Yeah.
So not easy, but I had to take the appointment. He's really busy. So
That's the thing. Sometimes you can't. But if you can, that's definitely a medical boundary
yeah,
for me that like I can't I
you're
can't
always trying to
function.
you're always trying to get somebody else to accommodate that too.
Yes.
So
Yep.
that's like a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So you have to have a boundary with yourself about having a boundary,
Exactly.
right? You
Ah,
can't
we're so
so
complicated, us.
you can't be upset about it, but you got to
No.
make sure that you don't have to be there. It's 9 o'clock in the morning when you live 2 hours away.
Exactly.
That's like me. I've had to
That's
do all this stuff, and this is new to me because before I would just accommodate. I would just be like, "Oh yeah,
yes.
that's fine, that's okay," and I would just say, "Yeah, yeah." Before I got sick, yeah,
Yeah.
I was the perfect like
The yes
make
man.
sure everybody else is happy.
Yes, make sure that, everyone else is emotionally okay, physically okay, like all their needs are met before even like considering ourselves and our
Right,
own needs.
right, right. And then if there's people in your life that you set boundaries with that become they become combative about it in any way, then I think that maybe you need to reconsider those people.
It's a sign. Like I'm like you. Like I didn't go full like
Oh, no,
sending a message and then block them, but
you did.
I have blocked people. Like I've blocked family members that just would make my life more difficult, and I don't need that. So, like, if you drain me, if you exhaust me, if I feel like shit after I'm spending time with you, then it's a no. Like, I can't. And this other boundary that I've set with certain friends who, like, I can be like super chatty with, and like I could be talking for hours and then be like, "Oh shit,
Oh yeah, you're
you've been
totally like
talking."
that. Yeah,
Yeah. So like I definitely I need my like time to for my brain to kind of
calibrate
calm down.
to
And so with
calibrate
one
back
friend,
to
yes.
yeah.
So with one friend, I used to use the like red light, orange light, green light kind of analogy to be like, okay, my max typically for socializing is like 2 to 3 hours. Like 3 hours, I'm pushing it and I'm going to be exhausted after. And so I had this one friend who, like, she would actually check in with me, like, where are you at? Like, are you still green? Are you like getting to that yellow where you're like, probably should think about like wrapping up our visit or our conversation?
Or are we calling 911?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, am I done? Like, did I
Like, I think it
overdo
was
it?
the first time I think it was the first time we had a conversation. We
Yeah,
went
probably.
really long.
We did. We did.
It was
I think
4
we spoke
hours.
like, yeah, 4 or 5 hours. We
Yeah.
talked.
And I
Yeah.
think it was that kind of like spawned this.
Yes.
So sometimes if you don't have boundaries, it's okay because it spawns podcasts and good friends and all kinds of stuff like that. And sometimes you really have to put in the effort. Sometimes,
But
but if
if
it
it's
a total
uplifting,
right,
like talking to you, it
yes,
was uplifting and I felt seen and
that's why
like,
you kept doing
yes,
it.
I was
Yeah,
tired,
yes,
but it was worth
it
it.
was
So
mentally
like,
charging and physically
yes,
exhausting. Yes, so
yes. And
there's
that's
and
okay.
there's the push
That's
and the
going to
pull,
happen.
and there's what you have to.
Yes.
There's another great point right there. So
Yes.
you've got boundaries, yes, but some days do you have to like maybe
Push
push
them.
yourself a little bit
Yeah.
because it's going to be beneficial to you in some way?
Yeah.
Then I
That's
think that
okay.
that's important that we hit that too. Like I think
Well,
that's a
yeah,
really
because
good
we're not
point.
just yeah, because we don't want to say just cut off people and don't have
No, no,
conversations
no.
and
That's what I'm saying.
no.
Like my experience when I told you I cut these people off, my
Yes.
experience was years and years and years of only
Yes.
hearing from them when it was convenient for them and
Exactly.
only hearing from things that they wanted and not hearing anything like they were interested at all in my life.
It
So
wasn't reciprocal.
it wasn't reciprocated. It was like,
Yep.
it was for them. And I
Exactly.
even had a couple of them tell me that and then continue the same behavior. Like, oh, I'm
Are you
sorry.
kidding?
Yeah.
So they recognized the behavior and just ignored it. Like,
But I mean, I get
wow.
recognizing it as a step,
I
kudos,
I
right?
guess.
But the
Yeah,
thing
baby
is
step.
if you've been distant and weird with me and you come back and you tell me that and then I give you 3 more months grace after that and you
Yeah.
keep doing the same shit, then I really don't want to play this game anymore. So that's
No.
why I would rather be direct. I wouldn't just block them. I said, "Listen, this is not working for
Yeah.
me, so I don't have anything else to say and I really don't want to do this anymore."
And I think that's why, like, you were asking me earlier, do you think having a conversation is important? And I really do. Like, I've had conversations with my brother who sometimes, has been challenging in the past. And I've had conversation before I blocked my aunt. Like,
Yeah.
she's very
Oh no, yeah.
clear on why it was blocked. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I get it. And that's the same way that's where we went in our family episode.
exactly. And that's kind of why again, we went down like a little bit of a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But
We went down there hard.
we did. But I
And
think it was needed,
it was a personal thing for
even
sure.
if it was just for us
Yeah, it's like
and
when
we
you
don't
make
share it.
sometimes
You know?
sometimes musicians record songs that never get released
Yeah.
because they're just an expression that you needed to get out or
Get
something that
on.
need and sometimes you don't release them and that's just the
And
way it
that's just
is.
okay.
And it's okay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And that's why when that conversation kind of went the way it did, I was like, this is obviously the way it's meant to be. Like, I'm not going to overthink it and like stress about like, oh, our outline, like we haven't followed. No, like it flowed the way it flowed for a reason. And I
This
think,
was a good one.
yeah, it's
Oh, yeah, I like this. We're like 50. I can't believe we're 58 minutes
I
into this.
know. It's so let me just quickly then go over some like simple tips
Okay.
when you're
Wrap
getting
it up,
used to
girl.
like,
Wrap it up, Christy.
yeah,
Christy's gonna wrap it up,
we
girl.
did good,
She
but
gonna wrap it up.
wrap it.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing is to notice how you're feeling after interactions. Do you feel resentment? Do you feel drained? Do you feel uplifted? Like, that's another thing. The keys to knowing like, oh, a boundary is needed to be set is if you're feeling resentful. To me, that's the biggest sign. So that's the first step. And once you notice that, then you're kind of keen into consciously like, yes, I need to set a boundary. And what is the boundary that needs to be set? Is it, limiting how long I talk to this person? Is it having that conversation of like how you're feeling on it's a one-sided type of relationship, and see what comes from that? The second tip is, and this is a big one for me, was learning to pause before answering yes or no. Because in the past, if someone would ask me something, a friend, like, oh, can you be here for this? Can you do this? I would just automatically say yes.
Yep.
Yes.
A yes person. Are you a yes? So I
was.
People should ask themselves right now, are you a yes person?
Yeah. Do you find yourself saying yes when you want to say no?
Yeah. Be honest with yourself.
Like, it keying into that. Like, if your body is screaming at you to say no and you're still saying yes, that's a big sign that a boundary needs to be implemented.
There we go. And we are 59 and 50.
Okay.
But to wrap it up real quick.
Yeah.
What would you
start with small boundaries. Don't go big. Practice them. Go little by little, and then you'll be able to do the bigger ones. Stop over-explaining yourself. This is a big one for me, especially as someone with chronic issues. It's like, I can't do this because I'm feeling sick and this and that. And like, it's okay to just say no. And that's something that I had to learn. And expect the discomfort. If you're someone that is used to always saying yes and being a giver, it's going to be uncomfortable.
And that doesn't mean the other person's even taking any offense.
No. And it doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. Yeah, you're doing something new.
Right. And that's going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. So I think that those are like the big ones that I would say are some tips. If you're new to setting boundaries, those are some of the things that you should be thinking about. Is there anything you want to leave off on?
I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to start this podcast. I thought it was going to be about you and I, and that's the one thing that people have talked about. Just to wrap this up really fast, is that they like the fact that we don't preach or anything about what anybody has to do.
Yeah.
What we do is live our shared experiences in public, kind of in a very sometimes overly private way, which is like something we'll have to deal with on another platform.
Exactly.
But I think people find it real. And I think giving people real information that they can either take or leave, may implement, may be already implementing, may need to implement, but still can't implement it, but it's the first step in being able to, then I think that's why you and I are here.
I think that's beautiful.
I do.
And I'm really glad that people are hearing, because we don't have it all figured out, but we share the things that have helped us and hopefully can help others.
And I'm Drake Jensen.
And I'm Cristie Vito.
And we're here because life
bends us all.
Catch you on the
Have
flip
a great
side,
one.
Cristie.
Take care.
Bye, girl.
Bye.
And thanks for being here with us today.
If this episode resonated, share it with someone who might need it.
And remember,
life bends us all.
See you next time.
And don't forget to comment.